Aston Martin arrived at the 2026 season with Adrian Newey, a new factory, a new engine partner, and the kind of ambition that comes from spending more than any team in the history of the sport. 2 races later, they have 0 points, 2 double retirements, drivers who cannot complete a full race distance, and a leadership structure that has just publicly fractured. Newey is stepping back from the team principal role. The man everyone assumed would replace him has been blocked by Newey himself, and the team's most credible external candidate just turned them down. Aston Martin is not simply struggling with a difficult car, they are struggling with a crisis that extends from the power unit into the boardroom, and it is getting darker before it gets lighter. The decision to place Newey in the team principal role always carried an inherent contradiction. He is the most influential designer in the modern era, responsible for 26 championship-winning cars across his career. But his entire career has been built around defining technical direction with precision, not around managing the operational, political and human demands that come with leading a Formula One organization. Newey himself made this contradiction explicit when explaining how he ended up in the role. He described it as a practical necessity. Since he was going to be at the early races anyway, he said he may as well take on the title. That is not the language of someone who wanted the job. It is the language of a temporary arrangement made under pressure. And temporary arrangements at this level rarely survive contact with a real crisis. The crisis arrived immediately. Aston Martin came to Melbourne with the fewest testing kilometers of any team on the grid, a power unit showing severe vibration issues, and a shortage of spare components that meant every session carried genuine risk. The team was not trying to extract performance, it was trying to survive its own machinery. When a team is in that position, the role of the team principal becomes more critical, not less. Coordinating the response, prioritizing the engineering resources, managing the external pressure, these are not design problems, they require a different kind of leadership entirely. And that is exactly the kind of leadership Aston Martin did not have. Since his dismissal from Red Bull Racing, Christian Horner has been searching for a way back into Formula One. He explored a minority stake in Alpine. He held conversations with Lawrence Stroll. His name was attached to Aston Martin's leadership search almost from the moment Newey's interim status became public knowledge. On paper, the argument for Horner was compelling. He built Red Bull into 4 consecutive Constructors' Championships. He managed the most dominant driver of his generation. He understands the internal politics of a team under pressure in a way that very few people in the paddock can match. And crucially, he had worked with Newey for nearly 2 decades, a partnership that produced some of the most technically dominant cars in Formula One history. But that history contains a complication. The relationship between Horner and Newey deteriorated significantly in the final period of their time together at Red Bull. Newey's decision to leave the team was influenced in part by Horner's conduct during a period of significant internal tension. The two have since been in communication, and the relationship has reportedly improved. But improvement is not the same as willingness to rebuild a professional partnership under the most pressurized circumstances either of them has faced in years. According to multiple sources, Newey is not open to working with Horner again. He has made that position known to the people conducting the search, and Lawrence Stroll, who ultimately needs Newey's full commitment to the engineering program, is not in a position to override that objection. The result is that the candidate who appeared most likely to bring immediate authority and experience to a team in crisis has been eliminated, not by the team but by the person whose technical direction the team most depends on. With Horner blocked, the search has narrowed to a smaller pool of candidates, and none of them come without complications. Jonathan Wheatley is widely regarded as the strongest available option. His operational experience at Red Bull across multiple championship-winning seasons gives him a detailed understanding of what a competitive Formula One team looks like from the inside. He is currently the team principal of Audi, a role he took on when that project needed exactly the kind of experienced operational leadership that Aston Martin now requires. The challenge is whether Wheatley would leave a team he has only recently joined for a situation that is objectively more difficult. Bernie Ecclestone weighed in on this specific question, saying the only scenario where it makes sense for Wheatley to leave Audi is if Aston Martin can offer him something significantly more compelling than stability. That is a high bar for a team currently unable to complete a race. Andreas Seidel represents a different profile, available, experienced in managing complex team environments, and capable of the kind of structured operational clarity Aston Martin currently lacks. Jonathan Wheatley's deep Red Bull background gives him familiarity with the kind of performance culture Newey is trying to build. Both are logical choices, neither is guaranteed to take the role. And the longer the search continues without resolution, the more the uncertainty compounds the existing problems on the engineering side. Whoever takes over from Newey will inherit a situation that goes beyond leadership dysfunction. The Honda power unit is generating vibrations severe enough to damage battery systems repeatedly, and severe enough to physically affect the drivers. Newey warned about this before the season started. He said the vibrations carried a risk of long-term nerve damage to the driver's hands if they attempted full race distances. Alonso confirmed it in China after withdrawing on lap 32. He said the team had found more vibrations in that session than at any point across the weekend, and that physically he could not continue much longer. Stroll retired after just 9 laps with a suspected battery failure, a direct consequence of the same vibrations damaging the electrical systems. Honda acknowledged the severity of the problem after the Chinese Grand Prix. Their trackside general manager stated there was no excuse for their reliability and performance, but acknowledgement is not a solution. The root cause, oscillations within the power unit itself, cannot be addressed through chassis adjustments or setup changes. It requires engineering time, simulation runs, and hardware modifications that can only be implemented during the gaps between race weekends. The 5-week break between Japan and Miami is the most valuable development window Honda has had since the season began. Whether that time translates into meaningful improvement at Miami remains uncertain. But the new team principal, whoever they are, will need to manage expectations and drivers through a period where the fundamental limitation is not something they can fix through leadership alone. Bernie Ecclestone's assessment of the Wheatley situation cuts through the diplomatic language that surrounds most discussions of this kind. He said the only scenario where it makes sense for Wheatley to leave Audi is if Aston Martin offers him something significantly more compelling. That is a precise observation because it identifies the core problem with the most qualified candidate. Wheatley joined Audi precisely because he wanted to lead a team from the ground up in a new project. Leaving that project for a team in crisis, one that cannot complete a race, whose power unit is physically harming its drivers, and whose leadership structure has just visibly collapsed, requires a level of compensation and authority that Aston Martin would need to deliver unconditionally. Lawrence Stroll's approach to team management has not historically been characterized by unconditional transfers of authority. His control over Aston Martin is both significant and personal. Any incoming team principal would need to negotiate not just a title, but genuine operational independence, and the track record of that kind of negotiation at Aston Martin is complicated by the departures that preceded this one. Andy Cowell was moved aside. Newey is stepping back. The pattern is visible. For Wheatley or any credible candidate, that pattern raises questions that need answers before any serious conversation can begin. And every week those questions go unanswered is another week the team operates without the clarity it needs. Aston Martin has the resources, they have the facilities, they have one of the most respected technical minds in the sport committed to their engineering program. What they do not have is the leadership clarity that converts those assets into performance. Newey stepping back is the right decision. A correction of an arrangement that was always temporary. But a correct decision is not a sufficient decision. The Horner option is gone. The search continues. The car still cannot complete a race distance. The Honda power unit still physically limits the drivers. And Japan is days away. Whoever eventually takes the Aston Martin team principal role will inherit a situation that is more complex than any job description can fully capture. The crisis is not just about fixing a car. It is about rebuilding trust, clarity, and direction inside an organization that has been operating under significant strain since before the season began. That process takes time, and time is exactly what Aston Martin does not currently have. Subscribe to F1 Perspective. We will track every development.